the echoes of Dark Entry Forest. The town of Blackwood was the sort of place that everyone drove through, but no one remembered. The highway barely curved around it, as if giving it wide berth, with signs that were faded and weather-worn as if they, too, had been abandoned. But to those who lived nearby, Blackwood was synonymous with one thing: Dark Entry Forest. People spoke of Dark Entry in hushed voices, always with sidelong glances, as if they feared the forest might be listening. The woods were thick, dense with ancient trees that rose like dark sentries into a gray sky. The forest floor was a tangle of roots, rocks, and brambles, and it was said to be nearly impossible to navigate without a map. Those who dared enter often found themselves turned around, dizzy with the unfamiliar silence that seemed to deaden every sound. But that silence held something more sinister, something that left the forest forever forbidden. It was in those woods that Eliza Finch had gone missing. She was 17, blonde, quick to laugh, and just the sort of girl who felt drawn to forbidden things. Despite warnings, she had ventured into Dark Entry one autumn evening on a dare. Her friends claimed she'd gone alone, though she never returned. Search parties scoured the forest for days, following what they thought was the faint trail of her laughter. They came back empty-handed, but haunted. And after that, the people of Blackwood stopped looking. As winter set in, rumors about Eliza grew. People claimed she hadn't left. They said that if you listened closely at the forest's edge, you could hear her voice, thin and distant, floating on the cold wind. A few months after Eliza vanished, Megan Caldwell decided she would solve the mystery herself. Megan was a year younger than Eliza and had idolized her bravery, her defiance. She gathered her courage, a flashlight, and a notebook, and set out one Saturday night to see if the whispers were true. Dark Entry Forest was quieter than she expected. The towering trees blocked out most of the moonlight, casting an oppressive darkness over her path. She clutched her flashlight, its thin beam slicing through the shadows. Every crackle of leaves seemed amplified, each twig snapping like a gunshot in the stillness. For nearly an hour, Megan wandered, her heart pounding, her ears straining for any sound. And then she heard it, a faint, barely perceptible hum, like someone humming a tune just beyond the next tree. She froze, turning her head to listen. The sound faded, and she forced herself to move forward, each step heavier than the last. The humming grew louder, morphing into a low, eerie murmur, like a dozen voices whispering in unison. She squinted into the trees and caught a glimpse of something pale flitting between the trunks, a flash of white, like the hem of a dress. "Eliza," she whispered, half hoping, half dreading a response. Nothing answered. The murmur faded back into silence, but her heart raced. She glanced around, feeling watched, as if countless eyes were peering out from the shadows. The forest seemed to breathe, its branches swaying as though alive. She felt her confidence slipping, her pulse quickening with each glance over her shoulder. She knew she should leave, but something compelled her forward. She didn't know how long she walked until she came to a clearing. The moonlight poured down, illuminating the twisted roots and rocks that littered the ground. And there, standing at the clearing's center, was a figure. It was a girl, her back turned, long hair tangled and matted. She wore a dress that seemed to shimmer in the pale light, though it was torn and dirty. Megan's breath caught in her throat. "Eliza," she whispered. The figure turned slowly, revealing a face that was both familiar and strange, with hollow, vacant eyes. It was Eliza, but her expression was empty, her mouth moving as if trying to speak, though no words came out. "Eliza," Megan tried again, her voice trembling. "What happened to you?" Eliza's mouth twisted into a sad, unnatural smile. She lifted a hand, pointing at the ground. Megan looked down and saw something chilling, a pile of bones half buried among the roots, tangled with fragments of torn cloth. A pendant rested atop the pile, its surface engraved with Eliza's initials. "No," Megan whispered, stumbling back. But as she looked up, Eliza's face twisted with pain, her eyes filling with a sorrow so profound that Megan felt it like a physical blow. Eliza's mouth opened, and a scream filled the clearing, a high, keening wail that pierced Megan's ears and rattled her bones. Megan turned and ran, her flashlight swinging wildly as she plunged back into the trees. The whispering voices grew louder, closer, swirling around her like a dark wind. She could feel them pressing in, tugging at her clothes, her hair, as if trying to drag her back. She broke free of the forest just as dawn's first light began to peek over the horizon, collapsing onto the roadside. She was found hours later by a passing driver, pale and shaken, clutching Eliza's pendant. Megan never spoke of what she saw in Dark Entry. She tried to forget, to banish the memories of those vacant eyes and the icy touch of unseen hands. But she could never escape the whispers. Late at night, when the world grew silent, she would hear them calling her name, faint and distant, beckoning her back to the forest. As the years went on, others claimed to hear them, too, a girl's laughter mingling with desperate whispers that drifted from the trees. And every now and then, someone would disappear, drawn by those ghostly echoes that refused to rest, forever lost in the shadows of Dark Entry Forest.